Hello, everyone. I'm entitling this Google Hangout Google Local for Attorneys. And the reason that I'm doing that is because if you're not in a local listings as an attorney, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Most searches in Google are local, and obviously the practice of law is a local jurisdictional practice. You're not going to be, if I'm in a car accident here in San Diego, I don't want to call someone from New York. I want to call somebody from my area. So it's essential and it's absolutely necessary. I'm going to show you a few things, a few mistakes I see with the Google Local and why. And obviously it's free, so you want to make sure you get this done. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'm going to pull this up and share my screen with you. And I'm going to type in a local search, personal injury attorney, Muncie, Indiana. And Muncie, Indiana, 70,000 people, if I looked that up, so there's quite a few people there. But if you look in this local, there's only 2 attorneys listed, Joseph Davis and Blackburn and Green. And with 70,000 people, you would think there would be more attorneys, and that could be up to 7 in the 7-pack. And this is a personal injury attorney, Muncie, Indiana. So it's a highly searched term. This page is probably getting quite a few views. And the fact that there's only 2 attorneys here means something is going on. There's a reason why Google's not identifying these businesses. Google originally was Google Earth. That's how Google got established. So Google is into the geographic where things are at. Google Maps, Google Earth. So Google identifies you through secondary resources. So you need to tell them where you're at, and other people and other things have to tell them where you're at. And all this information has to match. If information doesn't match, then it becomes complicated and Google can't identify you, thus meaning you're not going to be in the 7-pack. But let's look down a little further. Well, you got Joseph Davis. Well, he shows up right away again here in the organics. Blackburn and Green, and they show up again. And then you have FindLaw. Well, FindLaw is it's an ABO, I'm sorry, which is a big company, and you could pay to be on their site, which a number of attorneys are. It's expensive, and you're going to build their site, not your site. I'm into attorneys building their own sites and establishing their own identity online, and not another company's identity. But let's scroll down here a little bit further. And we've got Beasley here. Let's see what's going on with Beasley, because why isn't he showing up? He's on the first page, and for some reason he's not showing up. So let's take a look at his website. Okay, looks like they've been in business for a while, serving in Muncie for over 120 years. Let me go to their contact page. Here's their address, and it looks like they're in the Mutual Bank building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and paste this address and see why it's not showing up as a local attorney in that area. So I'm going to go to Google Plus, or actually I'm going to go to this area right here, and I'm going to search in Muncie, Indiana for that place and see what I come up with. And here we go. There's the Mutual First Incorporated, and they're on the maps. And there's nothing here. There's no publisher page. So I don't even think this has been identified. This is just generic information that Google's pulled to put this location with some sort of business. So Beasley is really hurting themselves by not filling out this information and getting it correct. So Google knows they're in the Mutual Bank building. The way you would do that is you go to Google My Business, and you'd have to sign on, create an account, and do all that. So we know, okay, there's a problem right there with Beasley. We know what's going on with those guys is they're in the bank building, and it's not showing up. So let's take a look at some of these other people here and see why they're not showing up. Back to the search. Next guy looks like is Ken Nunn Law Offices. Okay, let's click on this guy. Pull him up. Here we are. Looks like a nice guy. About our firm, our attorneys. I don't see any place where it has a contact us. So let me scroll down here a little further and see if I can find out some information about these guys. Okay, and here's the problem. Look at all these locations. He is all over the place. He's got one location here in Muncie. So he's probably more of a regional attorney than he is a local attorney. So maybe because all this disseminated information out over the internet about him is confusing Google, so they're not really identifying him as a Muncie attorney. So he's not going to show up in the local 7-pack. So let's go on to the next person and see what's going on with them. Okay, Glazer. Okay, let's take a look at Glazer and find out why he's not showing up in the 7-pack. And he's obviously a personal injury attorney. He's got all this stuff going on. And it looks like he's got a number of locations too, but let's see what he's got here in Muncie. And there he is, 425 North High Street, number 7, Muncie, Indiana. So if I click this, cut and paste, put it into Google Plus and see what I come up with. Well, looks like I come up with, here he is, Glazer and Ebbs. And it doesn't look like much has been done with this page. It used to be, Google used to ask if it was your page or not, but they're not doing that anymore. But I know this is, nothing's been done with this page. There's no followers. There's no graphics here. And there's very little information. Probably this is generic information that Google pulled from other sources. But if you go back and look at this, another interesting thing, there's also Hiron's Driving Academy. So Google is looking at this 425 North High Street, number 9, Muncie, Indiana. Let's go back and look at Glazer's contact information. 425 North High Street, number 7. So Google sees this address and they say number 7, and they see number 9, so they see 425, and they don't know who's here. They don't know if it's Glazer and Ebbs or Hiron's Driving Academy. So obviously, because there's a conflict there, Google doesn't know whether to identify that attorney in this location. So that's the problem. This stuff has to match. If it doesn't match, or if it's being shared by other people, Google's going to be confused and not identify you as one of these local attorneys. There's only 2. We got 70,000 people in Muncie, Indiana. There should be 7 here for sure. But I want to show you one other thing here, and I want to show you something that is another problem with Google Local. The law offices of Joseph B. Davis. Okay, if I want to, if I go to his Google Plus page, let's go back to his Google Plus page. That's his website. Here's Google Plus. Okay, if I go to his Google Plus page, I can see he hasn't done anything with this. This is all generic information pulled from someplace. And there's nothing been done, no followers, nothing's been done. But if I go ahead and I cut and paste his name, and I put it into, and I try to look for it in Google Places, we're going to search for him, and here it's waiting. It'll be up a second. Look at this. He's got 2 pages. He's got this generic page, which has nothing filled out, which is the one we just looked at, that's associated with his website. And then we've got the second one, or associated with Google Plus, or Google on his Google Places. And then we got the second one that he's been working on. Not very much, but he has worked on it. It's got 1 follower. It's got his logo here. It's got a little bit of information about him. He's put some pictures up. But guess what? That's not the one that Google has associated with his businesses, the law offices of Joseph P. Davis. They've associated this one, not this one. So he's working on the wrong one. He's actually tried to develop this one instead of the one that Google has for him, which is this one. So he's got to get this thing squared away, and they're both called, this is the law offices of B. Joseph Davis, PC. The other one is, okay, the law offices of B. Joseph. Let's take a look at the other one here, if I can find it. Where's it at here? Okay, this one is the law offices of B. Joseph Davis. So it looks like they're B and yeah, they're both the same thing. So obviously he's working on the wrong one. So sometimes what happens is Google will set up a Google Places page for you, and then you go ahead and develop one on your own, and you're working on the wrong one. So you want to make sure that the one that you're working on is the one that Google has identified for you. And like I said, this is all free. This is very easy to do if you know what you're doing. It takes a little bit of time to figure it out. This is not the kind of stuff that people learn in business school. Most of it has to be stuff you have to pick up on your own because it's all fairly recent. And unfortunately, people that understand this stuff are people that are pretty young yet, because they're the people that grew up with it. The older people that didn't grow up with this don't really understand it, because it's not, you know, your dad didn't do it, your grandfather didn't do it, you didn't grow up in this age of technology and Google Places and Google Plus. But you got to make sure that you're using the right Google Plus page. You got to make sure Google's identified you, and you got to make sure you're in the local listings. All very important stuff. If you need some help with this, I'm going to put my information down below. I do this every day. Obviously, nobody has all the information, but if you work with it every day, it makes it a whole lot easier to understand and deal with. Just a few problems that I see people doing, and a few things that are easy to identify and fix if you have some understanding of this. So I appreciate your time, appreciate you listening. And like I said, my information is below. If you want to contact me, I'd be happy to help you out with this. Thank you.